Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Nellie. I'm the proud owner of Relish Mama. And today I thought it would be super lovely to do some cooking together and baking in particular and make some super easy individual flourless chocolate cakes. So I posted these on my stories on Instagram, possibly a week or so ago. And I had lots of lovely people asking for the recipe, which was just lovely. So thank you. I thought it would be just as quick and easy, even though I've shared the recipe with everyone. I've popped it on the blog. So you've got a printable recipe there at relishmama.com.au. But I'm also going to give you a quick demo so you can just see just how quick and easy they are to do at home, to make at home. So to avoid the noise for you all, I have just separated 6 eggs to start with. So it's important that you separate your eggs when they're fridge cold. That just makes them so much easier to separate. So I've got my yolks, 6 yolks here. And in this bowl here, I have whisked up 6 egg whites. Okay, they're going to be the leavener for this dish. So egg whites in particular, when we get a lot of air into them, they act as the stabilizer in our baking, and we're not using any flour today. I add a pinch of salt, which also helps to stabilize the egg white, so that's important. So just a little pinch of salt is in there. I have melted some chocolate, so 200 grams of really good quality chocolate. So I'm using a bittersweet curvature chocolate, and that makes a big difference to the finish, the taste of this dish. And I've melted that gently with 90 grams of unsalted butter. We can add our own salt to our baking, and that way if we use unsalted butter, we've got the choice of what quality salt we want to put into our baking. I'm going to add my egg yolks now into my chocolate. Now I've let the chocolate cool just a little bit to avoid them cooking in the warm chocolate. I hope I said that the right way around. I cooled my chocolate and butter before I added my egg yolks. Okay, we've got some chocolate in reserve, so 1 for each cupcake, or it's roughly 40 grams of chocolate, if that helps you at all. This recipe has a gorgeous memory connected to it for me. So the recipe is from my first cookbook, the green cover, and individual flourless chocolate cakes. And I had my beautiful 3 daughters here back then when we were doing the photo shoot for some of the desserts. And these cakes had just come out of the oven, and I had, stuff all over the bench and extra chocolate on the bench. And Etty, I don't even know how old she would have been then, but at the end, and they'd just come out, she just grabbed some chocolate and just without me looking, just started poking a piece of chocolate in each one. And I was a bit mortified. I was like, oh my gosh, do we have to reshoot? But we never changed the recipe. It is this beautiful, delightful little surprise to get a piece of, I'm using Lindt curvature chocolate, a piece of Lindt, in the center of your cake at the very end. I'll show you a little picture. So this is what they look like at the end. And that is they're the actual cakes that Etty popped the chocolate in. So thank you, darling daughter. All right, so we want to now remove our spatula. So when we've got all this beautiful air in our egg whites, we need to make sure that everything is scrupulous and clean. So we start using, I've got a glass bowl, or you could use a stainless steel bowl. I don't want to use any plastic with my egg whites, so I'm going to use a stainless steel spoon. And I just want to add about 1/3 at a time of my egg whites in and fold them into my chocolate mixture. And it becomes like this glorious chocolate mousse. It's so good. Just take your time. We've lined some muffin cases or cake cases. So this mix should make 12 to 14, depending on the size of your muffin molds. So gently fold. We want to keep as much air in there as we can. Now for our last. So these are going to bake on 150 degrees or 130 if you're using a fan forced oven. So always that's a change of 20 degrees, fan forced convection oven. So 5 ingredients. There's really good quality chocolate. There is 200 grams of chocolate, 90 grams of unsalted butter that we've melted, 6 egg yolks or 6 eggs separated. So we're using the yolks and the whites, and the caster sugar was whisked up into the egg whites, which I might have missed before. So when the eggs have whisked, then after that we gradually add in the caster sugar, and it's important that you just add about a third or a quarter at a time. It's 130 grams of caster sugar, and a good way to know if it's incorporated is to actually get a small pinch of the egg whites, crumble it between your fingers, and if you can't feel any granules, then you're good to go. If you can, just let it go for a little bit longer. Okay, a good little tip is to have an ice cream scoop that that way you can measure these out to be fairly even. How good does that look? So good. Okay, so 12 to 14 cakes. Oven is preheated. The finishing touch of the extra chocolate doesn't go in now. It goes in when they're fresh out of the oven, and they bake for about 25 minutes. So we'll come back together then, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, we're back. 25 minutes later, we have got these glorious Flourless individual chocolate cakes. While they're still warm, if you want to add our special little touch, then take a piece of chocolate and just gently poke it, nestle it in to the center of each of your cakes, and it won't melt fully, but it will melt a little bit, and the contrast of textures is really, really nice, and they just look super gorgeous. So the centers will crumble and crack a little bit because they are flowers, so don't be surprised. That's perfectly normal. They're done. There we go. Gorgeous. I hope you make them soon. I hope you love them. Let them cool on a board for 10 minutes or so before transferring the cakes to a cooling rack, and just letting them cool a little bit more. They're gorgeous, served with some a dusting of icing sugar. I love them dusted with rich dark cocoa. You could enjoy them just on their own or with some mascarpone there. Yeah, just ice cream, anything. They're just a beautiful treat. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you cook them soon.